Hello, everybody. It's Donna Cravata, and we're here again with, I believe this is our 120th Real 50 Over 50 interview. And today, I mean, like this whole thing started by asking my friends if they wanted to be interviewed. And this is one of those friends.
Hello.
So today, I'm introducing you to Adrienne Garland. She's the CEO of She Leads Media and the founder of the She Leads Live conference, which I have to tell you is one of my all-time favorites. She has a successful. She's had a successful corporate roles at some pretty impressive companies: Cablevision, PR Newswire, and PricewaterhouseCoopers. And then she followed her heart and pivoted to focus on helping women entrepreneurs build their businesses and amplify their voices through podcasts, publishing, and events that foster real community. Adrienne's an adjunct professor at both NYU Tisch and Rice University, so she brings a combination of academic insight and real-world experience to everything that she does. She has this deep belief that we share that when women share their expertise and their stories, they create meaningful change in the business landscape. And she's been proving that for over a decade now. So, welcome, Adrienne. I just adore you.
Well, I adore you too. That goes without saying. Thank you so much for having me. I feel honored. Oh my gosh, over 100 episodes. That is incredible, Donna.
Yeah, I love it. This is my favorite day of the week. Unless it's a panel, then it's my favorite day of the week.
Awesome.
So, let's just start with how we met.
Oh gosh.
That's
The year was probably 2013, maybe. Yeah, and
it was
I met you through the woman that I partnered with initially on this whole adventure, Laura Lates. Hi, Laura. It'd be so nice if she was watching. But we started a conference back in 2013 as a way to bring together women like us that were just starting businesses and experts that knew how to start and grow businesses and get funded and get media attention and all of that. So we put together this incredible conference.
It was incredible.
It was incredible. The first year, two people.
And actually, if Ellen Williams is watching, that's where I met Ellen.
Oh my God!
Because
Yes.
she spoke from on your stage from when she was speaking off for Constant Contact.
Oh my gosh. It's so funny that from, I would say 2013 all the way up until today, there are so many beautiful relationships and partnerships and friendships that have grown out of the Woman Con, which it was called back then, and now the She Leads conference. And it's sort of like an unexpected bonus that we never thought of at all, because we were just like, okay, we need to figure out what do we need to do. But so much good has come out of it. And I think that just speaks to not only what we created and what our hope was behind creating these conferences, but also just, this is what women do.
Yeah.
And you're doing this as well. You highlight the women, and then they end up connecting with one another, and then something else beautiful grows from there. So
It's happening every single day. I mean, yesterday I was so busy I didn't have a chance to like go and engage on LinkedIn, but there were at least 6 different posts going on at the same time, where I was it's some post that I started because I launch all of these interviews at the beginning of the month on all the social platforms, but there was engagement going around those, and then there were like at least 3 or 4 other posts where I was tagged because people that connected through me were doing other things. And I just I was so busy I didn't have a chance to do anything, like go comment or anything. But I was just sitting here all day, like watching the notifications come in and with the biggest smile on my face, because it's like, this is what it's about.
This is what it's about. And I think we all women inherently know that this is what it's all about. And you can't put a price on it. And it would be amazing if you could put a price on it. We'd all be millionaires.
Oh yeah. But there's things that happen that I think are often more valuable than money. Because,
Absolutely.
here's another thing I learned about all of this, because I've been in this game for a while now, as have you, is that what you need shows up.
Yeah.
It may not be what you expect or what you were even trying for, but what you need shows up.
That's so true. That's so true. And I want to say here on this platform, Donna, you have been such an incredible friend and business colleague to me personally since 2013.
Wow.
That is
Right
rare.
back at you.
That's rare,
Yeah.
and it's beautiful
Yeah.
and it's amazing.
The other day, I was going through my Facebook videos because Facebook is now going to delete anything that's older than 30 days old. So I wanted to make sure that I caught the things that I wanted to keep. And there was one video that I found where I was like smack in the middle of the depths of my AFib journey and
Oh,
could barely leave the house. And you invited me to come speak at your event. This was maybe like 4 years ago.
yeah.
And
2018. Yeah, it was at Webster Apartments, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
and I couldn't even really like go out, but I somehow summoned up the energy to drag into the city and public transportation
Ugh,
and get to your event, and
oh God.
and I did it, and it was incredible.
Yeah.
And I did this video like after doing that, saying, explaining how hard it was and how grateful I was to you for giving me that opportunity in the middle of all of this where I felt so low
Yeah.
and like so betrayed by my body, that
Mhm.
you created this space to make it easy for me to go somewhere, to get on a stage, to
Mhm.
talk about what I do, and to feel like myself.
Oh my
And
God.
that
I
was
love
so
that.
meaningful.
Can I tell you something? This is really strange because the other day, it's not because we're doing this, but I was looking through not Facebook videos or anything like that. I'm putting together a media kit. And so I was looking through photos from all the different years at the conferences. And I specifically, randomly clicked on a picture, has no name to it at all. And it was of that panel that you were on in 2018 at Webster Apartments on that panel. I clicked on that the other day. Isn't that strange? And I
Mhm,
don't look at very many pictures.
mhm.
But your picture and that panel came up. And I was like, oh wow. Yeah, you looked great. Really?
That's because you had a really
Like
good
you were in the throes of
photographer that
AFib.
day. You had John there. But yeah, I mean, it meant so much. And like one of the things that I truly love, I'm going to just, this is going to be a love fest, people. So kind of, sign up for it. One thing I want to share that I truly love is at your events, and whether this is virtual or in person or her podcast, whatever it is, she has a way, Adrienne, this is the she I'm talking about, has a way of bringing together like different levels of people. So she will pull together somebody top of the food chain and regular little folk like me and get them in the room. And these women don't come and speak on the stage and then leave. They stay there for 8 hours and
Yeah.
they talk to people, and they're hanging with you in the bathroom, and they're like asking you to kind of like, trade things from the incredible gift bags. I mean, the gift bags at her events. I mean, I'm still using this moisturizer from probably like
Yeah.
2015. I found it on Amazon and I keep ordering it. It's on
Oh
like
my
auto
God.
replenish.
Oh my God. It's so good.
But like so many incredible people that I met at your events that I never would have had the opportunity to meet. Not just like, oh, can I take a picture with me and your book, but like actually have conversations with and then connect on social and keep those relationships going.
Yeah.
And it's very intimate and small and thoughtful. Like you really put thought into everything, every touch point.
Mm.
And hosting events is hard.
Yeah.
It is hard. It's like giving birth.
My gosh. I always say it's like throwing a wedding, like
Yeah.
year after year after year. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's definitely tough, and it has not gotten easier. It was sort of at the pinnacle right before COVID, and
Mhm.
so incredible. And oh gosh, I had such hope and vision. And then, that damn pandemic struck
Mhm.
us all. And things have not been the same. But I just want to say thank you for seeing me, Donna. I do. I literally put everything that I am into curating these conferences, not only inviting the people that I think have like diversity of thought and opinion, but also the content and how it's put together and what the
Mhm.
theme is and how everything supports each other and builds upon the thing before and builds upon the year before. And
Mhm.
so it is very thoughtfully put together. And I have had so many people help me over all of the years to do all of it, but it's a heavy lift.
It is. It is. And let's talk about the PR panels that you have, because those are amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Hmm.
So
That panel started in 2013 because I had I had I had my last corporate job, full-time corporate job at PricewaterhouseCoopers, but right before that, I ran the marketing department at PR Newswire. And in that role at PR Newswire is when I truly understood the power of the media and media relations and understanding journalists and what it is that they're looking for and how to help brands connect with the media in order to amplify messaging, right? Slightly different than marketing, part of the marketing mix, but different approach and different reason for being. So we brought in people from PR Newswire along with journalists, people that I had cultivated relationships with at PR Newswire. And we had that first Pitch the Media panel where we gave women entrepreneurs with incredible stories to tell. We gave them the opportunity to get up in front of a panel of journalists and pitch themselves. And then the journalists gave live feedback.
amazing.
Amazing. And we have done that panel every single year and as a standalone event since 2013. And it is fabulous.
Do you have any stories of like what happened after?
Yeah, we actually had a very accomplished, incredible freelance journalist, I think earlier in her career, an author, Elaine Pofeld.
Mhm.
And she wrote this amazing book called The $1 Million One Person Business. And
Mhm.
there was somebody who pitched to the panel where Elaine was a panelist. And Elaine ended up writing an article about the woman that had pitched on stage at She Leads Live. And I don't know. Oh, I should know if it's a Forbes. It's either a Forbes. I believe it's a Forbes article that was written about this woman and her business, and that is incredible. were also opportunities where somebody got a keynote speaking engagement at the BET conference in, I believe it was 2019. There are so many stories about people getting media coverage, or even just when they pitched, that members of the audience were so intrigued by the pitch that they ended up hiring these people. Yeah. I mean, there's a multitude of stories. And I think what's also so powerful is that the journalists are giving their hard-won knowledge not only to the person who pitches, but to the whole entire audience. And you can't find that information anywhere.
No, I've been doing this for a long time. And no, I mean, the information comes through with, like, when Cision does their state of the media, surveys, but, you have to know that exists. And then you have to kind of read between the lines of what they're actually saying. And there's not a whole lot, because people that are in traditional PR roles, they don't want you to know.
No, they don't. Right. Because that's their added value, right?
But I have been doing this. I mean, like, I started doing this before we even met. I mean, I've been doing this since like 2009, teaching people how to like get their own media. And it just becomes more and more relevant as the landscape of technology changes.
Yeah.
We need to be us, and we need to be ourselves everywhere. And like, before we started on this whole conversation about your events, that I said that there were two things that I wanted to mention. The second thing that I want to mention is you and I basically do the same thing. And it has never been anything but collaborative and supportive, and not like not even a sliver of competition, or none of it. It's all, and that just, I mean, it just makes me so happy, because like, we shouldn't be competing with each other. We should be lifting each other up every way that we can.
Yeah.
And I think, the relationship that you and I have had for like over a decade now is just such an example of that.
It's amazing. And I also want to compliment you, because what you do is, I'm going to call it surgical. So you're like the researcher, the field explorer, the researcher, the surgeon who understands the broad implications of the industry. But then, your gift is you dive deep and understand not only the media, but also like all of these tools that people can use in order to position themselves for these opportunities. And that's what it's all about. I approach things from, I create the space for this to all occur and set the stage for it, and let the people who are truly experts be experts. And you're one of them.
Oh, thank you.
You are. And I think that that's where your gift is, because you are incredibly curious and intelligent. And so you see everything that's going on, you take it all in, and then you look through it, sort through it, synthesize it, and say, okay, these are the three things that need to be done. Don't worry about those other things for you, right? For someone else, it might be a different strategy and approach altogether. Yeah. And I think the thing that is so great about what the both of us are doing is we are doing it, like, we'll help other people, but we're doing it for women. Yeah. That's where our hearts are.
For sure. Totally. I think that, particularly in this stage of life, we're coming back to ourselves. Yeah. And what I noticed through all of these interviews, it's not reinvention, it's remembering. And it's remembering these parts of ourselves that we put aside for kids and men and jobs and, whatever. And now we have the space to kind of, think about what do we actually want?
Yeah.
What could we contribute that will actually make a difference?
Mm.
And it's just an extraordinary time, and to gather with other people, other women that are in the same space and trying to do the same thing, and to be able to help them. For me, there's been such clarity in the work that I do, where I always would get tripped up because I was going through synthesizing so many things. It's hard to kind of keep up with what really matters.
Yeah.
But it's not so hard anymore.
I love that. And what's, I think, amazing, and especially about this series and just almost like this body of work, that we'll call it, um, is that I think maybe 20, 30, 40 years ago, when anyone thought about a woman in her 50s, it felt like on the pulling back on the way down,
Mm.
slowing down,
Mhm.
right? Maybe starting a hobby,
Yeah.
but certainly not like, oh my gosh, like, ooh, this is a brand new world, this is a blank slate now,
I
right?
I I've got women in their 80s in this community, you know, starting over. Not, I mean, and I don't want to say starting over, because they're bringing all of their parts together, and they're
Right.
taking all of their parts into a new thing,
Yeah.
but they're doing it with like glee and force and excitement. And,
Yeah.
it's not a feeling of I have to, it's a feeling of I get to.
Yeah. And there's not as many um just pulls at them, so they have less constraints, so they have the opportunity to explore more.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, let's use the 50 mark. I'm past that, but let's use the 50 mark. If you think, if I can keep myself nice and healthy, right, maybe I have another 50 years at this.
Yeah.
And from that starting point, and having all the wisdom and knowledge and hard won, battle scars that we have, just imagine what we can create from there.
Yeah.
And how we also, I mean, I'm moving toward this more and more, but how we also don't give a shit about what other people think. That's the superpower.
It certainly is. I call it the installation, oh no, the activation of the I don't give a shit button when you
Oh,
turn 50. And then the 50s are kind of like a parallel to your years in puberty. But
yeah.
when you hit 60, and
Oh,
then what I hear is when you hit 70 and when you hit 80, it's just more pronounced, you
oh,
know?
I
But
can't wait.
I mean, I just turned 61, and
Oh,
you know, I don't I just really don't care about so many things.
it's so freeing. It's so
Well, it
freeing.
leaves you space to do what you want,
Oh, I love that. It's
you
so
know? And
good.
and then, like, when you really get into the flow of it, it's so easy to just be like, "No, I don't think so. Uh-uh.
Right.
Nope.
Yeah. When
Next."
you think that those, "Oh, I feel bad," or what is, that person going to think about me? I think those things absolutely cloud
Yeah,
our thinking,
yeah.
Oh, I also see some comments popping up. I just got so excited. Uh
Oh, I didn't I'm only seeing one that says, "Love the topic." I'm not seeing it.
Well, I will read this comment because it's
Yes.
so good, and it is from another powerhouse woman that has been in my circle for quite some time, that I think we have some corporate trauma bonding. Um, but she says, "Bravo, we're so ready to be vigilant and vocal." Oh yeah, those are good words about what we believe in. We're tired of being the good girl. Yeah, please, like,
I
I'm
did
over
I
that.
did my time too.
Yeah. I don't know if
Um,
I was ever the good girl, to be honest
yeah, no,
with
I was always a shit stirrer.
you. That's why we're fun. That's why we're friends.
Oh, man, but, like, it's just so exciting, like, the clients that I've been working with lately, um, they're just ready to do something different, and they're ready
Yeah.
to let go of all of the crap. And like what I have been seeing so much of, and I'm interested to hear what you're seeing as well, is that like when it comes to marketing and online marketing, we're automatically drawn to the loudest voices.
Mm.
And they're not necessarily what we need, because those
No.
loudest voices are often somebody pushing one business model for everyone.
Right.
And that doesn't work. And like the people that I tend to work with are women that have had very successful corporate careers, or careers of some sort.
Mhm.
And now they're ready to do what they want to do. And they don't need giant funnels. They don't need, a team of 5 people to manage what they manage. They need to put their hands on the keyboard and understand the way these things work and figure out what they need to be able to be successful with what they individually want to do.
Yeah.
And I mean, I would say every client engagement I've had in the last 18 months has started with what you don't need.
Yes. Clearing away the clutter, the crap that holds us back.
And mostly it's building online courses. Like, I mean, I've 70-year-old women coming to me that they drop, $5,000 on how to build an online course. They
Yeah.
can't download an image in Canva. Like,
Oh,
why are you building a business like that?
yeah.
Don't.
I mean, like, don't get me started, because I have so many thoughts and probably won't be able to shut me up. But that said, I was actually thinking earlier today about how social media came to be,
Mm,
right?
mm,
And sort of what it was for. And this was really when I was working at PR Newswire, and we were very entrenched in the traditional media business, and social media came along, and we realized, oh, this is the next thing. We really need to understand it. And it's great. Regular media, traditional media never went away,
mhm.
right? But social media has, I think, obscured and fragmented media,
Yeah.
right? And there's all things popping up. We all see it all. So I was sitting there to myself thinking that, has social media reached its pinnacle, right? Its saturation point. And what comes next?
Oh,
Where is the next influence, right?
uh,
Because social media is full of shit,
yeah.
performative videos. Everybody says you have to do video. Well, you know what? Maybe we don't. Maybe we don't have to jump on that bandwagon.
Okay. Do you want to hear? Because I've been studying
Yes.
this. All right. And
Okay.
actually, right before this call, I was listening to an interview that has really gave me some great information.
Mm.
Um, I really believe for people like us, and again, every business is different. So, like, you really have to know what's right for you.
Mhm.
Um, but I think the two platforms that people are generally going to need to be active on, and active, not outsourcing this to somebody else to do for you. If you're a solo business person or a really small business owner, you need to maintain your voice. And I have been saying this for 20 years. You need to maintain your voice, and you cannot give it away. You can't outsource it to a person. You can't outsource it to AI. AI can help in a million ways, but not your voice. Okay. LinkedIn,
Mhm.
Substack.
Yes, Substack.
This
Let's talk
interview that
about
I was
Substack.
listening, okay, I'm on it. I'm this weekend, my 4th of July weekend is I'm building my independence on Substack.
It's amazing.
So this is a direct quote from the interview. I can't even tell you the people who they were, but it says, um, the notes feature on Substack is built on algorithms that were built on how we did social media in 2012.
Okay.
All
Yep.
right. So it's about going and finding the people that you want to connect with and saying hello and
Yep.
having fun. And
What a novel concept.
their algorithms are on having fun and having a good experience. That's what's building their algorithms.
Mm.
We are not the product on Substack because there are no ads.
Yeah. So
On
good.
social media, we are the product. It's not so much on LinkedIn because I'm going to go surgical now because on LinkedIn, they do not get the bulk of their monetization from ads.
Right.
They get the monetization. They have outsourced the ads platform and the jobs platform.
Mm-hmm.
So they're getting their monetization from getting paid from those
Monthly
two
memberships.
platforms, but
Right.
those two other organizations that are running jobs and ads pay LinkedIn to be in their space.
Okay.
All right. And then, they get money from being, premium memberships, and there's probably other ways too. But we're not as much the product as we are on Facebook and Instagram.
Mm.
Facebook and Instagram, we're just like, a bottle of laundry detergent on the shelf,
Yeah.
So, and I really don't like that. And the name of my company was Social Sage PR.
Mm.
And then it was Social Pivot PR, and it was all about social media. I was all about social media, and I'm not anymore.
No.
The only reason I'm even on Instagram and Facebook is because of this. I don't do anything else on there, really. Everything is either LinkedIn and now I'm going to start Substack. And what I'm going to start on Substack, you're going to have to kind of follow me through the summer, but I'm building something
Amazing.
substantial on Substack.
See, Substack is so incredible. And actually, I think some of the people in the comments have their own Substack too, which is so super cool.
Because I can't see their comments, tell them to connect with me because I'm looking to build a network there.
Please connect with Donna on Substack. And also, I know that Jean Carucci has a Substack.
Okay, me and Jean, we need to meet.
Yes, yes. What I was going to say is while social media, if you define it as the platforms might be evolving, changing, transforming, the concept of being social, a social being in the media, I think that's a fundamental principle. So while, you said your business was about quote unquote social media, I would push back on you and say that your business was not about the platform of social media, but rather the idea of media being social.
Yes.
And that remains. And that is what allows people to move through these different platforms. Because if you hold tight to that fundamental concept, then everything is just the medium.
Yeah.
Right. And what I love about Substack, and I think this is like a little bit of the Wild West part, is that now anybody can be a voice and an authority and create their own media property, which is sort of what Instagram, LinkedIn sort of does, but I don't know. Substack's a different level.
Well, it's a different level because you own your content.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can take your content with you if you choose to leave.
Yeah.
And Facebook, they are now deleting videos that are older than 30 days old.
Right, because they're an advertising platform at the end of the day. They do not care about memories no more. Right? They used us for what they needed us for. I always said, oh, there's some beautiful comments.
Yeah, they're starting to come in now. I must be on some kind of delay.
Oh, yeah, super cool. But yeah, Facebook built their business, and then, Instagram as well. They built their business on people's backs, and they monetized our lives.
Yeah.
They monetized what we hold dear. And that is, I would curse, but I don't know if I can.
Yeah, do whatever you want.
But that's fucked up,
We already
right?
have.
It's fucked up. But what's even more fucked up is we said, monetize us.
Yes.
And don't give us anything in return. Oh, we'll stay on your platform. So we also have to be, I'll use Jean's word, vigilant. We have to be vigilant about where we put and place our minds and our thought leadership, because we don't want, especially as women, we're constantly being monetized
Yeah.
against our will.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we can't let it happen to our bodies. Don't let it happen to our minds.
And I'm going to take this another step further too, because we're all looking, for visibility and for, being, introduced to different audiences. But we have to be really careful about this with PR too,
Yes.
because where we amplify is really important. And like, I wouldn't book a client on Fox News
God, no.
or anything along those lines.
Right.
And I watch all these different platforms that offer media opportunities, and you're starting to see these news outlets that were never there before are
Mm,
now infiltrating into these spaces where people that don't really know might get excited about something. So,
mm,
this really will impact your trust and your credibility and how people view you. So you want to be very careful about the podcasts that you're on,
mhm,
and the media outlets that might share you, how you're showing up on social media, being really mindful of keywords that you use. So,
mm,
there's so many different layers to this. And it doesn't need to be hard or complex. It actually becomes quite simple when you have crystal clear knowledge about who you are, who you represent, and where you want to be seen, and
mm.
like who your audience is. Because by having that information, it helps make the decisions for you.
Yeah. Right. It's your lighthouse. It's your
Yeah,
guidepost.
yeah,
And it's so funny because it's also this movement from outward pressure and like trying to appeal to the masses, and sort of taking that back and saying, wait a minute,
yeah.
let me go deep
Deep,
within
yeah.
and figure out what I am, what my values are, what my vision is.
Mhm.
And then with that crystal clarity, which you also help people do, with that crystal clarity, you then can use that as your measuring stick,
Yeah, I call it a barometer.
your barometer. So
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
And then you say, does this align? Yes, no.
yeah.
Could it be interesting and different? Okay. But like it's your filter. And
It is.
that gives the power back to the person.
Yeah, it cuts out the bullshit is what it does. It really, really does. And, you know, amplification will work in either direction.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you can amplify to the wrong audience,
Mm.
or you can amplify to the people you actually want to connect with, the people that you could actually help. And when you do, it's always smaller, it's more manageable,
Mhm.
it's less work, and
Mhm.
it's fun because it's what you want to be doing anyway. These people create these systems and scenarios of stuff that you never want to do, you
Mhm.
know, and it makes you create a business that you hate.
Yeah.
And that you shut down ultimately because you're not making the money you need to make, you're not enjoying it,
No.
and, business is up and down. There's gonna be times where you make money, where you don't make money. You better love what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like it right, it forces us out of alignment,
Yeah,
and it has been what we've been fed about how to, right? How to have
yeah,
a digital business, how to do social media,
mhm,
right? And that it does work. It worked, and it worked for a select few, and then every single person started chasing after that model because they got super successful. But it was a combination of factors that led them to success that you cannot replicate by
yeah.
copying them.
Well, it was also done in another time.
Exactly, the
Yeah,
conditions are not the same.
no.
And that's something else we have to be aware of. And I think, like, just to speak more about women, again, We have to tap into our inner knowing and stop thinking that other people have the answers for us when we have the answers
Have
inside.
the answers. And we're gonna wrap this up, but before we do, I just
I'm on fire, Donna.
I just want to say, like, AI is just another extension of this. And, you know, it doesn't work. You can't just press a button and presto changeo, have the answer to everything. And also all of these custom chat GPTs and these things, people that are not software engineers building things that they can't possibly maintain. Stay away from all of that. Put your hands on the keyboard. Figure out the way these things work. Build a relationship with it. Just like go back and forth, ask it questions, but you be the driver. You be the person that is like running the show. You know, this is just a really smart intern. You know, this is a really smart junior employee. But you have to keep control of it. And the other thing that happens is when you're working with AI and you're working with like these custom GPTs or something that somebody else set up on the back end with their own assumptions of what you need, you're not going to get the best of what these tools can deliver for you.
Yep. Okay. I think the golden moment is, and the thing to take away from this conversation that cuts through everything, be the driver.
Yeah.
Be your own driver.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like it.
On that note, before Adrienne and I get in trouble about something, which could very likely happen, this is her website. Go to any event she's hosting, listen to all her podcasts, meet the people she knows. You will only benefit. That's all I have to say. I adore this woman. Put her in your life, and come back every week for more.
I love it. Donna, thank you so much for creating this space and for inviting me into it, and just all of your incredible love and support for, I don't know, do the math.
For life.
Almost 20 years. We'll just say almost 20 years.
Okay. Well, thank you for the
Thank
same.
you
All
so
the same.
much.
It's been very reciprocal, and we will be back next week with more. I'm not doing panels over the summer, but I've got some other things up my sleeve. So stand by because I'll be announcing them soon. And we'll see you back here next week. Thank
Happy
you.
4th of July.
Happy 4th of July and happy Canada Day, one day late for all of our Canadians.
Yes.
And we love you, Canada. All right. On that note, before I say something I shouldn't say, I'm going to go. Bye.
Bye.